Hey guys, welcome to my channel, A Blended Mix. Hey, I'm Elizabeth Grissett Daniels, and I'm a blended family strategist. And I'm here just to talk about some things as it relates to a blended family. It's a lot of things going on right now with the COVID-19 breakout. It's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of things happening in the family, and so you know what? I just want to just chit chat with you. My husband's on the other end of the camera, and he's going to ask some questions, and we're just going to have a dialogue. I just want to throw out some things here, just some thought-provoking things that get families to thinking, and get moms to thinking, get dads to thinking, get children to thinking. Please like and share my channel. Hit the notification button so you'll know when things new videos are coming out. I greatly appreciate it. So Sunday is going to be Mother's Day, and so I just want to send a shout out to all the moms. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being a great mom. Keep loving your family. Keep taking care of your family. Keep sharing love unconditionally. And you know what? I want to address something tonight as it relates to stepmoms. Sometimes, oftentimes, and I wrote a book, I'm an author. I wrote a book on kicking the step out of mom. And so, oftentimes, the stepmoms get a bad rap. And I know there's always exception to the rules because there are some bad stepmoms. But I want to address that tonight. My husband and I, we raised a blended family. We have over 20 years. 30 years. I lost 10 years there. We have we have over 30 years experience in raising a blended family. Do we have a perfect family? No, we don't. But we have a good, solid, structural family and some things that we can teach people. We try to encourage. I would say blended family strategist. What do you say? What is a blended family strategist? Well, I'm more like a cheerleader for blended families. My husband and myself, we push families, we encourage families. We're there on the sideline cheering you on, giving you some, we're screaming out, giving you some cheers, giving you some tidbits, giving you some wisdom, giving you some insight, giving you some roadmaps that you can follow. It's just like if you never, let's say New York City. If you've never been to New York City before, how do you get there? Well, you're going to need a GPS, right? You're going to need a map. Well, if you never had a blended family before, how are you going to navigate through this new experience that you're getting ready to embark upon? And let me tell you, it is a lot. It is a lot, but it can be done. And it can be done correctly or it can be done incorrectly, but you want to do it the right way. And we're going to help you. You just hang out with my channel. Just hang out with my channel. And we're going to have videos giving you a lot of insight and giving you a lot of wisdom. And I would like to let you know, a lot of things are going to be saying, and I don't apologize about it. It's going to be coming from a biblical perspective because, in my opinion, you really can't make it in a blended family unless you have the help of God. You really do need the help of God and the love of God to be able to do this thing and do it right. That being said, my husband's going to ask me some questions, and we're going to get this party started.
Okay, I think one of the first questions I ask you is, every organization or thing start out talking about leadership. How do you think leadership plays into leading your family? Being a successful leader, is being a successful leader is it important to be a successful leader and leading your family?
It is very important in being a successful leader and leading your family because, as the saying goes, how can you lead someone if you don't know where you're going? It's just like the blind leading the blind, right? And so you want to be a good example. You want to be a good example. You want to find good, wholesome families that you can emulate and look up to. You want to find good self-help books on families, and I recommend mine that you can read and get some insight and get some encouragement because sometimes it is very discouraging. Sometimes when you got when you have a blended family, because you bringing all these people into this group that's never been into this group before. And so you bringing in all these different personalities, you bringing in all these different mindsets, you bringing in all these different ways that say where your spouse was raised, the way you were raised. You got your other children. Sometimes they're in other environments. They're with the other loved one, the other parent, and so it's a lot going on. And so sometimes people, it takes a while. The statistic says it takes 2 to 5 years for a blended family to blend, and so it really takes time. And you know, that's something that you need to allow. You need to allow time. You need to allow time. It takes time to adjust. So you need to allow your family that time to adjust. And I would encourage stepmoms, which I really don't like the term stepmom because I think it carries a negative connotation. But for the sake of the video, we'll say stepmoms. Mothers to be, blended family, if you're in a blended family relationship and you've been dating for a while, you have to allow time to adjust. You can't be pushy. You can't be forward. Oftentimes, women and men, they want the children to love them. They want, they want to be likable. They want to win them over. But don't be pushy. Allow it to be organic. Allow the relationship to evolve. Allow each other to learn each other. Allow the kids to learn you in your ways, and you learn the kids' ways. It'll make things run smoother, and it'll make things go better, because when you're trying to push them to like you, or you're trying to push them to be a certain way, and so you got to realize the kids, sometimes maybe it was a divorce that happened. Whatever's happened, most kids, they want their parents to be together. You got to realize that. You got to know that. And so sometimes they're not so friendly to the stepmom or the fiance or the mother to be. They're not as friendly. So you got to allow them time. And you can't fake. Let me tell you something. Kids, they have, I would say, a sixth sense. They know when you're faking. So don't fake. Be genuine. Be real. And just let it evolve. And another thing I would say too is, being a leader, don't get picky. Don't get into the picky, listening to what the dad or others had to say about the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend or whatever the case may be. Learn the person for yourself. And I think that's what happened oftentimes too, is that we get into that he say, she said, whatever happened in the past, somebody done told you, and so you already go in already not liking the other mom. And for no reason sometimes. So really, that would be one of my first tips, is being a leader. I would say is get to know a person for yourself. Don't go by what someone else has said or their thoughts or their opinion. Get to know the person for yourself.
I think there was some great highlights. I know in a lot of descriptions that entails leadership, when they describe leadership, they always refer back to the ability to influence someone.
That's right.
You influence them. So you covered a lot of that, and it is influence with integrity. Now, what about this particular avenue you think of? This you said we are blended family strategies. What about this makes you stand out? What do you think kind of helps you to fit the bill in order to do this?
What makes me stand out is being a blended family strategist. Well, I think really in the whole scope of things, a person or people should not know that your family is blended. They really shouldn't know unless they really know, because we know some people do know. But you should raise your family in a way that there's no difference, there's no separation, there's no favorites, there's no one that can pick up on that one child is getting treated better than another child, or you're favoring one child over another child. So, so as you're raising your blended family, first of all, I would like to say to the woman or to the man, if this is something that you're not wanting, then you shouldn't enter into it. You should not enter into it. And I will need to say that again. If this is not something that you're wanting, then you shouldn't enter into it, because oftentimes, sometimes, say if it's the man, if the woman has kids, he may want the woman, but he don't want to be a dad. He don't want the kids, but it's a full package, right? And so women have to realize that, and they have to pick up on that if the man is not wanting to be a father to your children, because even if they have a father and the father is in their lives, when you stay with this person or when you marry this person, you're really going to want them to be a father. You're going to want them to step up and be a father. No, not taking the father's place, but being in the father role. That's key and that's important. And if you don't think that's important, and if you don't think that's it's not going to be a deal breaker, then you need to think that through again, because it really will be a deal breaker.
You know, I look back and see where we've come from, and I want you to tell them, how did you get here? What did you think about this blended family thing initially, and how did it evolve into where your mindset is now?
Well, through the years, I had countless of people that would approach me, or approach us, and they would compliment my family, and they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that our family was blended. And after getting so many compliments, and after getting, then once people will find out sometime, they would come back and say, well, you don't show any difference. I never seen you, like discriminate in a sense in your family. I never seen you treat one better than the other. I've never seen you do for one and not do for the other.
Show favoritism.
I never saw you show favoritism. And so, it's like, hey, you got something there. Hey, you can help people, because, this is kind of like something that you don't see often. And so that's one of the things that really stood out, and that I really got some insight on from other people telling me that.
Well, initially, how did you feel about your own blended family in your inception and coming into the marriage?
Oh, I love my family. There was no difference. When I can truly say, and I can really stand before God and say that I had no difference in the children that I had naturally or the ones that came into my family. I love them all the same, and I think I can't explain it. It had to be something God just supernaturally wove into me, because there was no difference there. There was no difference.
Well, now, there's some blended families that'll come to a point where whoever you bring to the family is already there, because no more kids are going to come there, as you see. No one else is producing kids. Now, what's the mindset? What do you think the mindset's going to need to be for those people? They're going to, who you bring in and who I bring in is who's going to be in. We're not going to have any together, per se. What do you think the mindset is going to need to be for them to actually know their family, love their family, and know that their family's already been fulfilled?
So you're saying that if no more children come into the family, yes, like if the husband and wife if they don't have a child together,
right?
And so if no other children come to the marriage, just the ones that you bring,
right?
And so what is the mindset? What should the mindset be? The mindset should be, these are things that you need to discuss and talk about before you really get married, because we need to be satisfied with the fact if no more other children are coming to the marriage, then we need to be satisfied with the children that we're bringing into the marriage. There has to be a meeting of the mind. It has to be settled from the beginning, because that's something that you need to already should have consulted each other about and already made a decision.
So to caveat on that, if you think there's one that really wanted another child, Do you think they should go into a marriage that is not going to produce any more children?
If that person really wants a child, and if they're not willing to produce a child, like can't produce a child, then that could be a deal breaker. That could be a deal breaker because I'm telling you, if you go into the marriage, that's going to always cause conflict, because it's always going to pop up in an argument. It's always going to pop up down through the years. So these are things that you really need to consider, and you really need to think about, and you really, really, really need to do some soul searching before you enter into a marriage and discuss and talk about any and everything. I encourage all people, when you get married, pull every rock, every stone, every piece of furniture, everything that you can find to pick up and lift up under. You need to look up under. You need to discuss it and talk about it, because it truly will pop up and come up in your marriage and cause conflict if you don't deal with it ahead of time, or either find out what the other person's mindset is about it. See, sometimes we think one way and we don't really think that a person feels another way. And let me tell you something, once you get past the honeymoon stage, there's a lot of stuff that's going to pop up. A lot of disagreement, a lot of things that you didn't know about this person. You may even say, who is this person? Where did this person come from? So I encourage everyone, please, 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 you cannot know a person too much before you marry them.
You can never know them too much. Then do you think it's legitimate to know their background, their financial status, all this stuff?
Oh, yes.
Or if a person not willing to give you everything you want to know about them?
Well, if a person is not willing to give you everything or give you authorization to find out things about them, then, that should be another red flag. We may have to entitle this this segment Red Flag, because there's a lot of things that you need to know about a person, because you need to know women, and men. You are ultimately responsible who you bring into your child or children's life. You need to hear me on that. You are ultimately responsible for who you bring into your child or your children's life. And you don't need to bring a pervert. You don't need to bring child molester. You don't need to bring an abuser. You don't need to bring someone in your child's life that's going to bring havoc on the child, because you're ultimately responsible for the safety and the well-being of your child. So these are things that you need to consider, and these are things that you need to think about. Do background checks. Learn everything and know everything you can about the person. Am I saying go and be Inspector Gadget? Or what's the other guy's name over in England?
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, yeah, Sherlock Holmes. Hey, you may have to put your Sherlock Holmes hat on, because sometimes people have dark areas in their lives, and you need to shine some light on that, and you need to see if that's something that you're willing to embark upon. If that's something that you really want to get into, I would say caution.
Well, we'll put another spin on it. When the children come into play, the children on either one side or the other, but should the mate tell his wife or her husband everything they discuss with the former mate or with the child's biological mother or father who's on the other side of the marriage?
No. No. Okay, women, let me tell you this. No one else should have your husband's ear more than you. Men, no other man should have your wife's ear more than you. Everything that you need to discuss with them should be concerning the children. Anything else, what do you need to discuss it? Why? What's the point? What's the reason? Because what'll happen is, if we get over into discussing other things outside of the kids, then that can backfire on you, and it can be used against you. So you got to be careful of those type of things. And if you are true. I'm not saying not be friends with your ex-husband or your ex-boyfriend or ex-mate or whatever. No, please be friendly. Please be cordial. Please be kind and be nice. But there are barriers and there are guidelines that every family needs to establish and put in place, because that would help eliminate a lot of drama down the road.
So, for us to say you or I, so then, scenario-wise, if my kid's mother, both my mother, but their biological mother say, hey, you pay this for him, but we don't have to let her know. Just pay this off. It'll be over it in 2 or 3 months. But after you pitch in, $5,000 or $6,000, no one will know. I won't mention it. You won't mention it. Just do this. You don't have to let her know. We'll take care of this, and you don't have to say anything about it.
No, everything that goes on with the child or the children, all parties needs to know. Your current wife needs to know what you're doing. You should never do anything behind your wife's back. And vice versa. Women, you should never do anything behind your husband's back. Everything needs to be out in the open, because remember, if you're going to have a wholesome family, if you're going to have a build, I would like to say building blocks, because to build a house, you have to build it one stone at a time, one block at a time, one board at a time. And so to build a successful family, as it were, you need building blocks. And so you need to build things that's going to help your family to be a successful family, to grow and to be stable. So when the winds come and the storms come and the tests come, you'll be able to stand the test of times. But if you have built your house, or if, we could piggyback off the scenario of the 3 little pigs, it's certain ways that you can build your house. And if you build it out of straw, and if and I would say I would use the analogy, straw would be if you're still discussing stuff with your ex-wife, you still, you still think you're still married to her and not to your current wife, or, things that you're doing.
Or she still does think you're married.
Or there's some cases, some ex-wives still think they're still married to the man, and so they're trying to get in their business, find out, this and that. Or either sometimes they go through the children. And I would caution, please, 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 women, do not do that. If you want to know something, go to your ex. Don't go to the children. Go to the new mom. If you want to know something, keep the children out of it. Keep their relationship out of adult things, and because that will cause conflict and friction down the road as well.
Oh, you hit a profound point there. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the children? People don't think about what the children go through, and when they're making these decisions, mm-hmm. and they go through some psychological stuff too. They go through, some stuff that bothers the mind. And like you said earlier, they want their mother and father to be together. So how should we look after the kids? How should we protect the kids in forming a blended family?
We should always protect the kids. Something that I just said earlier: keep the kids out of adult business. That's one way to protect the children. Keep them out, and don't discuss things in front of the children. Don't talk about their biological mom or their biological dad in front of them. Don't do that, because what they're going to do, it hurts them. First of all, it's offending them, and they don't understand some things you may be saying that are true, but still you don't need to say it in front of the child, because the child don't need to know that, because that's out of their realm. That's out of their level, That's in the adult level. They're in the kid level. Allow them to be children. Allow them not to worry about things, not to know about things. You are protecting them by not allowing them to know about certain things. And I'll always say this: when children get older, they see things for themselves. I don't have to throw someone under the bus to make myself look good and make them look bad. In time, as the children grow and as they mature, they'll see for themselves. And then you don't have to be the bad guy. They'll come to their own opinion, their own conclusion.
So the worst thing you can do in the relationship, as far as forming a bond with your child, is to bring up their biological mother or father and try to tank their image in front of them. That's pretty immature, huh?
That's very immature. Please don't do that. And I know sometimes you're hurt and you're angry, and I just want to encourage everyone, male or female, spouse, ex-spouses, go seek some professional help. Go talk to a pastor, a counselor. Go find a good girlfriend. Somebody that's going to be honest. Somebody that's going to tell you the truth. And somebody is not going to take sides, but help you to see yourself. Help you to see what is. Michael Jackson sung a song, looking at the man in the mirror. Sometimes you got to look at the man in the mirror. Sometimes you really have to look at yourself, because some people really go through some nasty divorces. Some people go through some nasty breakups, and they're hurt and they're wounded and they're offended. And sometimes if they're not careful, they'll spill that poison over to the children. They'll spill that poison over to other people. And then other people will form their opinion about individuals they know nothing about. And sometimes sometime when a new mom comes in the picture, when the stepmom comes in the picture, everybody's just lashing out at her, and that's not fair. That's not fair to do that. And I know that sometimes maybe the woman could have caused the breakup or the marriage separation, but that's a different issue that needs to be dealt with. But still, the same principles apply, so the way you deal with it is still the same. Because if someone broke your marriage up and the other spouse married that person, what can you really do about it? To be honest, what can you really do about it? Now, yeah, you can be messy, and you can cause a lot of drama in their marriage, and you can be vindictive, and you can spread rumors, lies. But what is that really going to do at the end of the day? What is it really going to do? At the end of the day, they're still going to be married to the individual. They're still going to be married to the individual, and you just really gonna get frustrated, and you really gonna it's really gonna backfire on you. You gotta know, whatever you sow, you will reap it. So if you want good seeds, you want good stuff happening, you want good stuff to come back to you, do good stuff. Good stuff will come back. I promise you.
And the one, it's kind of cliche is to say, if you know how good a pressure pot is, you have to apply the pressure. And you know how good something is, you have to put it up under test. Okay, do you think before, in any relationship, and especially in the blended family, some people come to a part in the relationship and say, we're not going to discuss that. I'm not going to deal with that. And then some people, they won't allow their mate or their soon-to-be mate to see them even deal with difficult situations, to see how they can navigate or mitigate to a problem. So they never know, how they act when they get under stress. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
That's a lot, because that's one of those things, again, that I need to see before the marriage, because I need to see how you react to pressure. I need to see your anger level. I need to see how you respond to things before we get married, because hey, I can't deal with you when you get, and you may turn into the Incredible Hulk. You may be one of those people that just lose it and just go all off. So it's a lot of things that I need to know, and I will always encourage anyone: do not marry a person that you never seen get angry. Do not, I promise you, do not want to marry a person if you never see them get angry, because how you gonna know how they're gonna respond? How would you know? I need to know. What's your what's the word I want to use? Your temperance level is. I need to know, are you one of these people that's gonna, explode and just go all off, and not handle and not know how to handle conflict? You don't know how to handle pressure. You don't know how to handle a family. Some people can't handle a lot of screaming and hollering. A bunch of kids. Hey, if you're one of those people, it's nothing negative towards you. Hey, if you don't want kids, hey, I don't want kids. Maybe you need to find somebody single, and somebody else that don't want kids, and somebody, hey, it is what it is, and so you got to be true to yourself, right? You got to be true to yourself, and so, again, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. You're doing an awesome job. Keep up the good work. Be a good mom. Be a good mom. Love your kids. Encourage your children. Even I don't care if you're 100 and they're 80. You still be a mother, and do what a mother does. And you know what? We want you to come back to our channel, and we're gonna be discussing a lot of things. If you got any questions, got any comments, please don't negative comments, because you know what? We want to make the world better. We want to make, and I know because everybody's situation is different. Everybody dynamics are different, and we can't address everything in this one little segment. But keep watching, and I assure you, down the road, we're gonna address some of the things you may be dealing with, or some things you may be encountering. You know what? If you got a subject that you want us to talk on, you know, hey, put it down low, put it in the comment button, and we'll talk about it. And we love you guys. We want you to stay healthy.
And can you please close out by telling them how important this subject is? How many blended families are there, and how bad is this needed?
It is so many blended families in this world. Over 1,300 blended families are forming every day. That's a lot. And it's what the statistics are saying, that the millennials are not going to know what a traditional family is. Everybody's going to be blended. So you know what? Hey, it's the way of the world. It's the way everything is, the way it's going. And so we need to learn how to get along. We need to learn how to blend. We need to learn how to, it's just like a cake. If a cake, you can make a plain cake, or you can make a chocolate cake. You can make a fruit cake. You can make a cake with a lot of ingredients. And all the ingredients make it come out really good, right? And so it's how you want your family. You can have a bland family. You can have a drab family. Or you can have a family that blends really well and tastes really good, as it were, in the sense as we're using cake as an analogy. You know what? Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to your family. Be good to your family. You know what? 3 things that I always tell everybody. It's just like a law. The law of gravity. What goes up must come down. That's a law, right? It works for everybody. Well, in a blended family, you know what works for everybody? Even though we got different scenarios, we got different dynamics, we got different makeups. But you know what works for everybody? Love, communication, and forgiveness. And you're gonna have to do that over and over and over again. You're never gonna have to stop doing that. You're gonna always have to love. You're gonna always have to communicate. You're gonna always have to forgive. And if you do those 3 things, I promise you, they will work for you.